Hello, how's it going, cracks? Thanks for being here. This is The World. Maldini, your channel. I want to make this video, which is purely my opinion, and I know many of you have been asking me for it, about Vinicius, about Vinicius's moment from yesterday's match, and about what happened with that viral argument involving Luka Modric, and what could happen from now on with Vinicius Jr. My feeling, my opinion, yesterday I was at Butarque, I commented on the match on Movistar. You have two videos of the match, one with the summary, with all the images of the match, analyzing what he did, what both teams did, including Vinicius. Now I'm going to share my opinion again. And you have a video I made from Butarque right after the match ended. You have two videos from the match, but I want to talk about the topic of Vinicius. The play has gone very viral. I found the moment from the match for you. The screenshot has been taken because first, we're going to talk about this. Logically, this is the play that everyone is talking about. The scolding that he gives, which he clearly gives, and he gives it for a reason. Luka Modric to Vinicius, because it's a play with a score of 2-2. There you have it. There were 7 minutes left, and the match was very open. Leganés had tied it at 2, and it's true that Vinicius, here you can see it, just stands there watching a quick play. The ball falls to Rabah. Rabah is already completely out of the play. Gonzalo is also there, and Brahim is there too, but, well, Vinicius is completely out of the play. And Modric, who did a great defensive job because he always puts in a lot of defensive effort. Luka Modric ends up dropping back. He ends up shooting Rabah on the ball, and Lunin saves it for a corner. And it's true that later, you're going to see it here, later. Here, we don't have the angle that shows both of them. But there is a photo. This is the plan of the match. Here we see how Luka Modric turns around and he opens his arms saying, we need to defend. We need to drop back to defend without the ball. We need to defend. Ancelotti said later. With all the reason in the world, in my opinion, I often don't agree with what Ancelotti says. You already know I've criticized him a lot about many things, a lot. But I think he was right yesterday when he said that what Luka Modric said was what was happening on the field. And that's not up for debate because the players on the field realize it. When a footballer in a specific action has neglected a defensive balance that needed to be maintained because Modric was tying the game. And the match was getting really complicated for Real Madrid, of course. And well, that's the reality. The photo, here it is. This is a photo from the stands where you can see that Modric is clearly, well, scolding Vinicius. One thing that, by the way, Luka Modric later mentioned, it happens 70,000 times in matches. I mean, it's quite common to see a player arguing with another from the same team, just like it happens to us in any job. By the way, friends from the world, Maldini, in any job, many times you argue with a teammate because either you tell him that he's not doing things right or vice versa. In this case, he didn't do it right. Vinicius, it's clear that Vinicius didn't do well. It reminds me, and now I'm going to get into the topic more, it reminds me of the Champions League final against Borussia Dortmund, where in the first half, Vinicius wasn't defending without the ball on the right flank, and Dortmund was getting a lot of chances down that right side. And there's a moment in the second half where I remember I mentioned it during the match, and I made a video about the game. I made several videos. Of course, Ancelotti got very serious with Vinicius, saying, you have to defend the right flank. Not just attacking down the flank, but also defending the flank. Vinicius is a footballer who, logically, offensively, generates so much that many times he neglects the defensive work, and it shouldn't be that way. In elite football, I think everyone has to defend without the ball, especially in difficult moments. Like yesterday when Modric had against Leganés. In other words, I think that's something Vinicius needs to improve. But what surprises me about all this, and now I want to say it, and your opinion is that Vinicius wasn't like this before. Because I remember the first Vinicius from Real Madrid, or moments of Vinicius, who has worked a lot without the ball, but a lot without the ball. And it's true that this lack of defensive character, of work without the ball, is happening to him. It's happening to him often, and it's something he needs to improve and correct because he's still in time and he's very young. Because Vinicius, friends of the world, Maldini, is a phenomenon. Yesterday I had a discussion with a fellow journalist. I'm not going to say the name because he didn't like Vinicius's game. I actually liked Vinicius's game yesterday. I said it during the broadcast, and I said it in the videos I've made. I said it on Movistar, and I'm saying it here. I actually liked it. Let's see, he didn't have a memorable game, of course. But he generated a lot. He drove Rosier crazy. He really put the opponent under pressure. And in the stadium, you could really feel it every time Vinicius got the ball. How did it completely affect Leganés' defense? He sent a shot to the post with the ball. I liked Vinicius's game yesterday. I liked it. I said it because I believe it. If I hadn't liked it, I would have said so exactly the same. I think you know me, but I liked Vinicius' game. I already said he didn't have a sensational game. I liked it. I don't think the card they gave him was fair because it was just a protest. Well, I think the referees need to have a bit more control. There have been many cases where Vinicius has earned yellow cards. A lot of cases, and they've given him those cards. For me, yesterday, it didn't seem like it was a card, but that's just a side note. What I believe is that you can't question Vinicius as a player for Real Madrid. Right now, honestly, don't have the slightest doubt that Vinicius, if he's in good shape, he's going to be an undisputed starter in the derby and in the matches against Manchester City. I don't see any doubt because Modric is doing very well. It's true that Modric is doing very well and that he improves a lot when he plays on the left side. It's true, but it's incomparable. Really, the constant generation from the danger that Vinicius generates. I know that Vinicius generates a lot of ongoing controversy over many things he does on the field. He makes mistakes a lot of the time. Obviously, he's a player who is very easy to take out of games, and the opponents know that. He's a player with a very fiery temperament. That's a fact. But to me, he seems like a player with a capacity for imbalance. Like there are very few, I really mean it. There are very few, and questioning Vinicius honestly seems incredible to me because, in my opinion, if we analyze the last Champions League, Real Madrid's Modric, Vinicius was the most decisive player. That's the reality. He was the most decisive player. In other seasons, no. In the season of the final against Liverpool, the most decisive player in the final, by far it was Courtois, although the one who scored the goal was Vinicius. But in the last Champions League, Real Madrid's Vinicius was decisive in practically all the knockout rounds, of course, the semi-final, without a doubt. He starts to be questioned. Well, then, in his opinion, of course, I think he made a mistake in that play yesterday. And I believe it's the job of this man, Ancelotti, and also all the teammates, starting with Luka Modric, who made it very clear yesterday with that outburst as a veteran and captain. What he had to do at that moment was to address a player who wasn't defending a dangerous play and who wasn't getting involved defensively. Well, he did, but I think the job of this man, Carlo Ancelotti, and the work of the other teammates is to bring out the best. Well, Ancelotti's job is to bring out the best vision of the team individually and collectively. And that involves everyone, especially Vinicius, who is a key player. If Modric wants to achieve the goals this season, he needs the best Vinicius. If not, it's going to be very difficult. That's the reality. Because the toughest moments of the Champions League will come, starting with the 2 matches against City, key league matches, and that's Ancelotti's job. Getting the best version of Vinicius, both offensively and defensively, is Ancelotti's job. The work of the other teammates, and of course the work of Vinicius himself, that's what I think. Friends from the world, Maldini, I want to know your opinion. Here you have, for example, what he did yesterday, the match against Leganés. He played the second half. He shot twice on target out of 5 attempts, tried 11 dribbles, of which 7 were successful, 64%. I think that's very good. He only missed 2 passes out of all the ones he made while playing in the position he played, and I have to say, I really liked yesterday's match. About Vinicius, here you have all the actions he wins, which are a lot, already inside the box, along the goal line. He loses several, but all the ones he wins, he couldn't score. But I think he generated a lot. I insist. He generated a lot with the ball. He had problems without the ball, and that's something he really needs to improve a lot. But I really wanted you to see this. Vinicius is a player who always generates a lot of debate around him, but this is my opinion. The day I play badly, I will say it, as I have said many times. The day he plays well, I'll say it. I can be wrong. I agree with. You often say that you do not agree with my opinions, and I think that is perfect. And there are people who didn't like the match yesterday because he didn't score. Well, that seems fine to me, but I think that everything that Vinicius generated yesterday, it was tremendous, really. It was tremendous. The truth, this is what I think. I want your opinion. Here's mine, and I would like to know yours in the comments. We have a very busy day. Then I want to make a video about, I've already seen the Maldini match against Roma, about the debut of Joao Felix and Santos Jimenez. Let's see. Hopefully, if I have time to catch Neymar's debut at Santos, and then I have to comment on Movistar, the Osasuna highlight. You'll have a video with the highlights, and then, of course, when the Valencia-Barca match is over, you'll get a video of the Valencia-Barca game, plus another video as well. Today, with these comparisons we make of players, and I like one more than the other, etc., which I know you love. In Mundo Maldini, we don't stop. By the way, we have a trip of thousands of kilometers coming up soon, and we're going to bring you a lot of things that you're going to love. A hug. Bye.